What's going on, folks? Yours truly here, Papa Goat. As you can see, who's with me in the podcast today? You know, every Wednesday now we have the same faces coming on every Wednesday. First Wednesday for one person, second Wednesday for another, third Wednesday for a third person, and so on. So today we have Joe again. We're gonna be talking about real estate. Of course, as always, the show will start right after this. There you go. We back. Joe, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Man, long time no see.
I know.
if
Long time.
if you can hear us, make sure you give us some thumbs up. The joke about long time no see yesterday, Joe and I and Mindset Gene had a podcast. A lot of great feedback. So thank you everybody who tuned
Yeah.
in yesterday, and thank you for watching today. The whole goal is to bring you content, bring you enough information so you can make a decision, whether it's real
Yeah.
estate, insurance, or making a decision to become an entrepreneur. So that's the content we're gonna be bringing for you constantly, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday so far. But anyway, Joe, how are
Yeah.
you? Introduce yourself, man, for the new people who's watching who doesn't really know who you are. Go ahead, man.
Yes. Yes, I am fine. First of all, I'm doing pretty well. It's what's Wednesday? Man, it's already Wednesday.
Yep.
Jeez. Yeah. I'm Joe DeRillis. For those of you who don't know me, I am originally from Haiti. I've been in the United States now for almost 20 years. Almost it'll
Whew.
be 20 years this year. And I'm a real estate, you could say a real estate guy, right? So all things real estate is that's who I am. I'm a licensed real estate agent. I'm a licensed real estate broker actually, with a company called EXP Realty. Real estate is what I do. It's what I love. It's how I feed my family. Yeah. So that's I guess that's what I'm here tonight to talk to you guys about real estate.
Yeah, there you go. And if one thing we
Yeah.
can talk all day about with Joe is real estate, because that's what he
Yeah.
does. That's
Yes.
all he does.
Yes.
But anyway, today we wanted to talk a little bit about the home buying process. So right now, there's a lot of millennials, right? Um, they turning 30, and this is really the time to really start looking into buying a home. So
Right.
at this don't forget to follow Goat Nation, guys. This is very funny because I'm gonna put her in. But my wife say, "Hey, you never mention your podcast on YouTube." So go ahead and follow us on YouTube, Goat Nation Podcast. Also follow us on Facebook as well as you're watching. All right. So anyway, thank you, baby, for reminding me. But anyway, millennials turning 30, 28, 39, 30, and they all looking, most of them are looking into buying a home. So what are some of the things, they need to be looking at? First and foremost, some of the basic they need to know before they start buying a house or the whole process.
Okay. Yeah. So millennials, man. Millennials are buying homes. More and more. I guess it took some of us and some of them a while to kind of agree to being, I guess, in one place for a while and just come to terms with just the whole home ownership thing. So I would say the first thing I would say is just to take your time, to take your time and think about what you want to do exactly when it comes to buying a house. Do some planning, figure out exactly what you want, where you want it, all of that before you even start. And then from there, it's really having two things in place. Um, having the money, or having the income, or even enough savings for a down payment, and having the credit. So those are the two things. Of course, whenever we say, having enough money for down payment, it's always going to be the one person that says, yeah, but you can have zero down payment. Yes, you can. You can have zero down payment. Those are called USDAs, right? Or if you're in the military, then you can use your VA to put no money down. But there's what comes with that is USDA are almost 99%. It's in rural areas. So it may not necessarily be where you want to live. And we all know, again, 9 out of 10 people want to live in the city. They want to live
Mm-hmm.
in the mix. They want to live where everything is happening. They want to live close to the airport. They want to live close to, public transportation. They want to live close to some of the best schools. So you will have to put something down, you know, and that could be from 3%, 3% conventional for, first time home buyers, with great credit scores, all the way up to 20%, and avoid, private mortgage insurance, at that point. So it's a lot of options. It's a lot of different ways, but if what you want, first of all, um, kind of your situation. All right, everyone's situation is going to be different. Then now you can get with a professional, a realtor or a lender that can help you put a plan together to make it happen. All right, and now that plan could be for the next 3 months. At the end of the 3 months, you'll be ready to kind of start the process. um or it could be 6 months, or it could be a year, or it could be even 2 years. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important for people to know exactly what you want, and then plan it out and stick to the plan, stay committed to the plan so you can make it happen, because we know there are so many, so many, so many, so many benefits that comes with um owning a home. And another thing is, it's better to do it, sooner than later. So I know I've said a lot. So
Mm-hmm. No, no, it's fine.
yeah, hopefully that's a good way to start the conversation about it. But yeah, but fundamentally, the things you want to have in place is a good credit score, and that I would say would be 640 or more. All right, and again, 640 or more, and then your income. All right, your income. Um, Man, it's hard to say. I would say anyone, you wanna be bringing home about, I would say, let's say, starting at $40,000,
Mm.
starting at $40,000, um, or I would say maybe combined income or a household income of at least $45,000.
Okay, that could get you in the door to
Yeah, that could
actually
get you.
have a little bit of option.
Yeah,
You know, I know you're not a tax expert, and as you were
yeah,
talking to me, I'm thinking of a conversation I had a couple weeks ago with somebody. Now, this is for all my entrepreneurs out there, my independent contractors out there.
yeah.
Listen to this. I'm talking to this lady. Cool. She wanna buy a house. All right. So I started asking her some question before, I bring her to the panel. Come to find out, independent contractor make
Hmm.
close to $50,000. But because you are independent contractor, there's a certain way you do your taxes where you can write off a lot of things. And she
Yeah,
only reported to the IRS, I think like 15,000.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
have you had any situation like that, Joe?
Oh,
Where,
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. I had a client. He owned a mechanic shop, and was doing very well. And but he not only first he paid himself, just very little, just enough to take care of all of his bills. But when he decided to buy a home and the type of home that he wanted, um, it and also because of the way his taxes was done, we had to basically do amendments for 2 years for him. Or we didn't have to do, but he had to get it done.
Mm,
He had to basically get with an accountant, a CPA, and really do those amendments to show enough income that could support the type of mortgage he wanted to get. It happens all the time.
mm. And if you have
Yeah,
question, by the way, just you can put question in the box, and after the show, we'll go ahead and contact you. But it is something that's very important because if you're looking to buy a home very soon, like this year or next year, the way you do your taxes, I'm not a tax expert, by the way. Talk to your accountant. This is not tax advice. However, the way you do your taxes is very crucial on buying a home. Okay. So make sure you speak
right,
with your accountant to, if you're going to buy a home this, you say, hey, I'm planning on buying a home. I just want to tell you that so you can give me some, advice on how I should, what's going on moving forward with the taxes. And they will know
right,
what to do. So I just
right.
wanted to bring that up. Go ahead, Joe.
No, yeah. So the I mean the and I just want to explain real quick why that is.
Hmm.
Any lender, and also that depends on the type of loan that you're going to get. Now there are some loan types or some loan products out there that basically I guess won't go all into your business
Yeah.
with bank statements and taxing and tax returns and all of that, but those typically will require a higher down payment. Now, for sort of your what we call, I guess, your conforming loans or your traditional loans, like an FHA, like a conventional loan, they're going that those lenders they're going to require to your tax return for the past 2 years, just the same way you're going to see your W-2s for the past 2 years to see, okay, this is the income that's coming in, and is that income the same that is being reported to IRS? All right.
Hmm.
And also they want to see what is that really true income, right? That true taxable income that is supporting you, and is it enough to support that new mortgage that you're going to get and everything else that you have to pay, right? So the lenders, they do their due diligence, they do a bunch of underwriting and evaluation to make sure that when they give you $400,000 to go buy a home, that you're going to be able to pay it on time, because that's an investment they're making really um into you. Because the way it works is, they're giving you the money for you to get the house, right? So they just want to make sure that you're going to be able to pay it back. So that's why it's important to show as much income as possible. And for like you said, for independent contractors, business owners, you want to be careful with that.
100%. 100%. Now, going through the loan process, um, and you mentioned something that's very very important. As you go through the real estate buying process, there are different loans out there. You know,
Right.
so typically, would you say which one is the toughest loan? The one that actually asks all the question. That would be the FHA.
Yeah, that would be the FHA, because it's a government loan, or it's a government insured loan. So it's, hey, the government, just like your student loans, you can get rid of it. You get a loan that's insured by the federal government. You're they're gonna make sure that everything is perfect, with everything is not necessarily perfect, but everything is right
Mm-hmm.
with your sort of financial profile, as well as the property itself. It's a lot of um red tape, it's a lot of restrictions, a lot of evaluations, a lot of inspections and
Mm-hmm.
appraisals. All of that stuff has to make sense for them, and it has to be on the up and up.
Absolutely. And I don't know if you guys remember. what happened in 2008, which make things extremely tight when it comes to getting a mortgage, a loan for a mortgage. So some of the impact in 2008 was actually because of the loan that was being approved without the buyer being qualified for that loan.
Yeah.
So there was, let's just say you're making, $30,000 a year, and all of a sudden you qualify for a house that's like $500,000. It just doesn't add up. So
Mm.
because of that, 2008 happened. And you can go ahead and look the whole history behind it. So the whole way they control how lending work now is to prevent a market crash from happening again the same way it did. Because I mean, this is why you go to a lot of loophole on those FHAs to make sure that the amount of money you're going to qualify for, you'll be able to pay the mortgage. You know,
Right.
so have you have any experience, Joe, with somebody who was majorly impacted in 2008 during the crash?
No, no, I not no one that I've worked with specifically.
Hmm.
Um, but of course, we've heard stories from other agents and loan officers who actually worked during that time, or a lot of them actually owned properties during that time, or was just getting into the industry at the time. So, but no one personally that I know
Okay, okay.
that I've
Eh,
dealt with.
that you dealt with. So everybody that actually lived through 2008, unless they were a very well um, positioned investor, 2008 was a blessing. Okay, but most
Right.
people who was a homeowner, who actually or got qualified for a really high loan when they couldn't afford it, they'll tell you 2008 was one of the worst year ever. you
Hmm.
know so that's why we have a lot of regulation on the home buying process now. But at the end of the day, what is the job of a realtor? The job of a realtor is to find out exactly what you want, like Joe said earlier. What's important to you? Where do you want to live? What
Yeah.
neighborhood? How many bedroom? What school you want your kids to go to? So there's a lot of things that come into factor where a realtor is not just somebody who's just gonna give you a key to the house, but a realtor actually position him or herself to build a relationship with you, because it's more of just a transaction. So Joe, with that being said, tell us, one of the best deal you work on where you really make that person dream come true. Like they was looking for something, and you was able to find him a deal. I know you have many stories, but tell us one story where you take it from A to Z. I mean, you don't have to disclose the name, but just tell us the
Mhm.
story.
uh, let's see, let's see. Let's see. I think they closed back in September. It was a young couple. They were looking. They've been looking for a while. They've been looking for a while, and they were. Let's say they had some. They had some. They had some pretty. They had some pretty big goals or standards. And they were looking. They in fact they were working with another agent before, but things didn't work out. And so when I started working with them, and we're looking everywhere. We're looking in resale, new construction, and particular areas. And finally, after we visited so many different communities, and I remember we were at a community, and they were actually ready to pull the plug. And then I remember a community that was nearby, a different community that was nearby, that had something similar to what they were ready to put the contract on, but just a lot better. You know, the lots in that community were going to be bigger. The home itself, it came already with some of those upgrades that we're going to pay additional for. So I told him, hey, give me give me 30 minutes. I'm going to take you to this new community and we're going to check it out. I think you're going to love it, but if you don't, we can come back to this, to this community and you guys can, we can move forward. Sure enough, we went to that other community and they fell in love with the property, and also the home ended up picking was ended up being ready much sooner because it was a new construction.
Mm.
The home was ready much sooner than the other community they wanted to go with. So I mean, as far as like the the A to Z, um with new construction, it's a lot more. It's an easier process. Okay, it's an easier process. I'm not, not gonna sugarcoat it. It's an easier process for everyone involved, for the realtor, for the client, because that's really when it really matters what what you want, where you want that home to be, um, and being able, and knowing exactly what area will fit those things, right? Now on the resale market, it's kind of the same thing, but then you're dealing with the condition of the home. You're dealing with, sometimes you're not dealing with a necessarily a builder. You dealing with another realtor on the other side, and also another person, um that's that they lived in their home, so there's some attachment there, and they may not necessarily be ready to really to sell the home,
Mhm.
or they're ready to sell the home, but their expectations or whatever price they want for the home is just unrealistic. So it's a lot you deal with in the resale market where, you don't really get that in the new construction. Um, but I would say this: all the process is almost the same every time, right?
Mhm.
It's almost the same every time. It's just a matter of dealing with different people, different personalities, different obstacles in the process, but the steps are the same. You know exactly what you want. You go look for it. You find it. You put a contract on it. You get it inspected. Then you get it appraised. Oh well, you get it inspected. You do a title search on the property. You get it appraised, and then you go close.
You make it
those
sound so
those are
simple.
the steps. Those are the steps. But of course, when to find that property, you're probably gonna go through 30 of them,
Mhm.
right? Or 50 of them before you really, before you find what you're looking for. And then once you find what you're looking for, now you got to put an offer on there. Now that offer may not get accepted. Maybe you get a counter offer. So now you have to go back and negotiate with that seller and the seller's agent until you come to an agreement. And then from there, you have to get that property inspected. Well, you get the property inspected. Now that inspection report comes back and it's a bunch of things that need to get fixed. Now you can decide to move on, or you can say, or you can ask the seller, hey, these are the things that are wrong with the house. Um, can you fix them? Okay. And let's say they choose to fix them, but then the fixing wasn't really done well. So now you have to go back and forth. And then finally, okay, you get you get everything fixed and you want to move on. Now it's time to do the title search. You do a title search, then you find out there's a lien from the HOA that's on the home that even the seller didn't know about, or there's a construction lien from some contractor who fixed the bathroom 7 years ago, but he was never paid something. So all those things could happen, and that sort of changes the experience a little bit, but really overall the steps are the same,
Mm.
right? So now you've done title search comes back and all those things are taken care of. HOA is paid. That that contractor is paid, whatever. You move on, and now you go to appraise, get the property appraised. Now, the appraisal's done, and the appraisal report comes back, and it says that the property is worth $20,000 less than what you were ready to pay for it. Well, now we have a problem. Now we have a problem. So is the seller going to sell the property, at the $20,000 below the contract price, or they're just gonna tell you, hey, this is what my house is worth. I'm not, uh, or what we agreed on is what you're gonna pay. Now it's up to to your buyer to decide, are they gonna get whatever the bank is gonna give them, which is the actual appraisal price, and then they can come out of pocket with the extra 20,000, or they're gonna walk away.
Mm,
So then we kind of go back into negotiating again to figure out how we can move forward or how we can move on, right? So, and again, after that, if there is agreement, then we can go to closing. So that's sort of the steps you go through. But between those steps, there could be little little back and forth that can take the process that normally you're looking at really 30 to 45 days, from the time you find the property you want to closing. But then if we're having to fix things, having to renegotiate, um, I mean, believe it or not, you call, you'll be emailing and calling and texting, and no one's answering or responding to you for a
mm-hmm.
day or two, and that's adding time and time and time. And so those are the things that's really the job of the realtor, is to make sure that throughout that process, they're being the lead facilitator. They're representing you, the buyer, even or the seller, to make sure that everything goes well, and to make sure that even while those things are happening, and it's stressful, and it's stressful, that they can relieve some of the stress, away from you, by making sure they're communicating properly, and making sure things are taken care of, you know
Mm-hmm.
so
It's a
that's
whole
that's that's
art.
what we do.
It's a whole art.
Right.
So, I think this whole process, even though it can go quick or there can be some hiccup, the number one thing is, if you're going to be buying a house, I would advise you just be patient, because
Yes.
it could be, just make sure you be patient, because it could be a smooth process, or depend
Yep.
on what could possibly go wrong. It could be a little hiccup. So I saw a a a, a comment, a question. Speaking of investing, is now a good time to buy investment properties? Now, um, Cedric, I would say it depends. Like, that's just my personal opinion. To me, it's always a good time to buy investment properties. It's just depend on the investor, what type of property are they looking to purchase. So let's just say you want to get a rental for Airbnb, or you want a rental that's gonna bring you a cash flow of like $400 or $500 per month. I mean, based on your budget, you can get a rental like that, you know. And with investment loans, you're typically looking at about 70% LTV, meaning that the lender would advance about 70 to 80%, depending on the lender, and you have to come up with the rest out of pocket. So it all depends. That would be my answer. But Joe, what do you think? You think now is a good time to buy investment properties?
Yeah. Yeah. I would say the same thing you said. Um it's always a good time if the investment makes sense. Um of course, you have to be mindful, of kind of the climate, per se, um the climate of around your investment.
Mm-hmm.
For example, you're talking about Airbnb. well, it may not have been the best thing to get an Airbnb maybe 12, 14 months ago when things were like super locked up because there weren't much traveling or lodging going on in several in some parts of the country, even the world. So at that time, now is it could it could still you could still pull the trigger because the deal makes sense now, and okay, well, I'm gonna have to kind of burn the next 12 months because of what's happening. But I know if I wait for another 12 months to make this deal, then it may cost me more.
Mm-hmm.
So with investments, it's always down to the bottom line. And if the bottom line makes sense first, then you can look at the other things around the investment. So yeah, it's always a good time, again, as long as the investment makes sense. Um there you can't bring in too much emotion into investment decisions. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's all about all about the numbers,
Yep.
the
Logic
cap
and cash flow.
rate, all of that, and the amount of capital you have, whatever the cash on cash return you're looking for, all of that, as long as it makes sense to you, and you have certain markers that you're looking for. Like, I know investors who are they won't do they won't do a deal if it's not at least 15% cap.
Mm-hmm.
At least 15%, you know. But then you have investors, they just need about 8, 10, ten
Yep.
percent
So it all depends.
you know. So it all depends on the investment itself, you the investor, and how you invest and what you're looking for. um and then if it all makes sense, pull the trigger.
Yeah, I think it's straight to the point. By the way, thank you for the question. If you have more question, you can please ask it. There was another question I saw. They said, "What about selling? Hypothetically speaking, how much money a seller normally loses after selling a home?" I don't think you lose any money, especially with all that equity going on. But anyway,
um Yeah, so I mean, there are gonna be some fees to sell the home, yeah, especially if you're gonna sell it through a real estate agent.
of course.
Um, so you're gonna pay a fee for that, but yeah, but also it's gonna depend on how much money you owe on the home, if you owe anything at all. Um, and yeah, I mean, yeah, so yeah, it's all kind of conditional and relative to the deal itself. Yeah.
True. Okay.
But I
Well.
will say this, in this market, in this market, I mean, usually you have motivated sellers. Well, this market, you have a lot of motivated buyers, right? So motivated buyers are offering 10, 15, $20,000 over your asking price because they want a home.
Mm-hmm.
They want a home and they want it now. So yeah, so what you might have paid in fees, you probably make it up and maybe a little bit more in over asking price offers.
Got you. Yeah, I think that was a pretty well explained explanation. I hope the person who asked the question, which was Cedric, I hope that answer your question. If you need more details, you know what I'm probably gonna do? I'm gonna create a link to put on this video, where anyone with any questions, or if you're interested in buying a house or whatever, you can just fill out that form, and we'll reach out to you and make sure we walk you through the process. Whether you're looking to get an investment property, or it's your first time buying a home, or you're just curious and have some questions, that's what we're here for, to make sure we give you the content to make an educated decision. So, with
Yeah.
that being said, it's been about 30 minutes now. Let me see. Oh, hello, Jay. JJ, what's up? How you doing? Saying hello. But anyway, if you have more questions, you can go ahead and put in the chat, and we'll look back and answer you. But anyway, Joe, any last word before
Yeah.
we get out of here, brother?
Um Man, I, homeownership is, it should be for everyone, or everyone should at least give it their best shot. You know, it's important to know, to kind of know where you are, and then figure out, okay, how, where do I need to be to, in order to be able to make this move, right? So if it's an income thing, well, how do I add to my income to be, so I can support, you know, a mortgage, so I can support, that type of investment, right? If it's a credit issue, well, what do I need to do with my credit to get it to where it needs to be? What I don't want people to do, which, we encounter this all the time, is just this problem of, I want to say, disbelief, or a lack of confidence, or just, people just, they feel like, if I'm not ready now, then I'll never be ready, you know. But really, that type of transaction, that type of decision, you're yes, you may decide today, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be ready today. But even if you're not ready today, you can be ready if you put a plan together, you stick to it, and you truly, truly, truly work at it. It's going to happen.
Mhm.
Even if it takes you a year or 2 years, it's going to be well worth it at the end, when you get, when you close and you get those keys, and also you get into that home, and now you're able to use that home not just as your shelter, but as a wealth building sort of jumpstart. It is an amazing thing. And honestly, I think it only happens it only happens in real estate.
Mhm.
It only happens in real estate, where you can make an investment that can give you so many other benefits, both short and long term. And man, it's yeah, it's amazing. Again, the main thing is just believe that it can happen.
Yep.
Believe that you can make it happen. Just find the right people to work with, and yeah, make it happen.
There you go. I appreciate it, man. If I can say one thing myself before I let everybody go, is just to piggyback on what Joe says. If you're thinking about buying a home, and I feel like that's everything in life. If you're trying to accomplish a goal, you find someone that already accomplished that goal you were to accomplish, and you speak with them. So, how does that relate in the home buying system? No disrespect, but if you, as a person, want, like you live in an apartment right now, and you want to buy a home, and you think it's a big deal, you don't think you deserve it, you think it's too big, like, it could never happen for you or to you. If you that person right now, I encourage you, seek with somebody who's already a homeowner. Don't go talk to your next door neighbor in the apartment and tell him or her who never owned a home before, this is your plan. Because no disrespect to that person, they might be great or they might be negative. But whatever resource or whatever idea or whatever their mindset may be, it won't be the same as somebody who already own a property, who already been to the process. So
Yeah.
my if you don't know anyone, I would start by asking all your neighbors, hey, do you know anyone who own a house? Maybe their cousin did, their brother does, or whatever. Then you seek to talk to this person and say, hey, how was your home process? Can you tell me a little bit about it? Do you think it's possible for me? And this person will give you a more truthful answer. Or
Mhm.
you find a realtor. Or you're watching this, reach out to Joe, reach out to us, and we'll tell you the possibility. But if you're going to share your goals, your dream with somebody who never been there before, it's gonna be tough. So that would be my recommendation to you. Anyone who wants to buy a house or anyone who wants to accomplish anything great in life, find somebody who already accomplished that. Then you can actually get some valuable information for that person. So with that being said, Joe, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming.
Hey, thanks
Uh,
for having me, man.
of course, man. Until next time, have a good day, guys. Bye bye.